I'm here only because your stare won't ever let me go. I'm here only because I'm aware with you is better than all alone. Oh, 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 say what you're dying to say. No, oh, tonight we're stars but we'll fade away. Go on and light me up. Oh, go on and light me up while we're golden. Come on and light me up. Oh, come on and light me up before we come down. Stars will always come down. So
Hello everybody and welcome into championship night for the NOMA Manny Rays Truck Series, making their final stop here of the season at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You are watching Austin Green on PGR eSports. Well, tonight, really the night that a lot of drivers have been waiting all season for, especially the four that have made the championship, the final truck race that we may ever see in the NOMA side of things, and excited to see who's going to claim that final championship title. Let's get right down trackside and get into tonight's starting grid. Starting on the pole tonight, it's going to be Justin Parham in the 19 truck. He will again start first, and this is a track that Justin loves. He is also one of your Championship 4 drivers, so he is going to actually start on the pole here tonight with a great opportunity to try to capture his second back-to-back championship. Matthew Fritz rolls off on the outside in second. He came up just short of making the Championship 4 after the result last week. Grant Turner, he'll start third. David Traylor, the second of your Championship 4, will start back in fourth, with Joey Hickox, the third of your Championship 4, in fifth. Sam Boutwell back in sixth. Jonathan Herbert in seventh. And Jay Stinson, your final Championship 4 driver, starting in eighth. Looking at your race info again, it is the Manny Rays Championship race here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway, which comes in at just over a mile and a half in length. 80 degrees going to be the starting track. Temps 72 degrees outside. 21% humidity. Clear skies and winds at 3 miles an hour. By the way, 150 laps going to be the total distance of this race here tonight. 75% fuel. Drivers do have 5 sets of tires in total. Can't forget fixed setups, and then there will be 2 stage breaks. The first one at the end of lap 35, stage 2 at the end of lap 70. 3 green light checkers as well if we were to need them. I have a feeling with the small field here tonight, we will not. It's just going to be all about who can have the best strategy play to get through that final stage. No stage points awarded here tonight, so these first 2 stages are really just a chance to get your truck where it needs to be to set up for that final stage with a chance to win a championship. Here we go. For the final time this season, green flag is in the air. We're racing at Atlanta. Good restart for the entire field. They stay 2x2 for the second and third row. Up front, Justin Parham is going to be looking to pull away with an early lead. And for Parham here, and we're going to be talking about this a couple times tonight, the biggest struggle that this 19 truck has faced, the speed has been there. It's been in the long run, and when he starts to lose track position, we've seen him be really fast in the first stage of so many of these races, but it's been kind of the latter half that's been a concern. We'll be keeping tabs on that. Further back, though, still some 2x2. And look at some of these trucks ripping around the bottom right now. Jonathan Herbert making a ton of headway. He's going to try to steal that position. Looks like he did get it. I was getting ready to say he was trying to steal that from Hickox and Grant Turner. He's going to get a 2-for-1 there. Coming off a 2 down the backstretch. He gets clear. Jay Stinson will follow just behind. Sam Boutwell and Joey Hickox going to battle. When you have guys racing this hard, this early, it sets you up for what you're going to expect later on. I mean, this is a track that really, it's so much about tire saving, and it is a cheese grater for these Goodyear tires, so you're going to have to be conservative early, but you still have a lot of different grooves you can work with. High lane, middle lane, bottom lane, whichever one you feel your truck's the best at. But I think the general idea is going to be the longer that you can paint that white line, a lot of people call it the Kevin Harvick line, but the longer that you can keep 2 left side tires pretty much wrapped around that white line that separates the apron from the banking, the longer you're going to have tires, or at least the longer your tires will last, I should say. And this is a long race, and again, that final run is going to be an extremely long one, one of the longest we've seen of the season. So we'll have to see how things pan out. But right now, Justin Parham still well in control of the field, sits right now just under half a second ahead of second place Matthew Fritz. David Traylor in the third spot. This is one of the guys that we know knows how to save tires, so we'll be keeping kind of an eye on when he starts to try to make his way forward. That's usually the cue for everybody else that it is go time. You may not need to save any more tire. But listen to that. Traylor with a big lift out of the throttle right there into turn 1. You wonder, is he maybe saving a little fuel? I didn't think that would be an issue, but now that I think about it, 75% fuel in stage 1 here, 35 laps, it may be a little bit of a concern. Yeah, there you go. David Traylor, he is clutching it just a little bit into the corners. So he seems to be saving a little bit of fuel right now. He'll do it again here into turn 1. We'll watch him one more time. And in fact, if we pull up the dashboard telemetry for you here, watch as he gets into the corner and take a listen to that throttle right there. Bails out. You see the throttle arc go all the way to 0 before he picks it back up right around the middle to center-ish of the corner. So if David Trailer's saving, that makes me wonder, is anybody else in the same boat? Let's go up to Matthew Fritz and company and see if they're in the same spot right now. Certainly doesn't sound like it, and if they are, they're not quite saving the same way that David Trailer is. That's for sure. And really, I mean, you know, if you're Justin Parham here, you're the leader. It's a lot harder for you to save than it is for some of the drivers behind you, because for Fritz and even Trailer in their case, they both are pulling draft. Excuse me, apologize for that, as they work down the straights here. And so all that draft that they get is really what kind of keeps them equal. And then as they get into the turn, that's when they get the opportunity to lose just a little bit of time by saving. We'll go back to David Trailer again. 54 truck, by far, coming into this race here tonight, has to have been the championship favorite. Not that the other three haven't been as competitive at times, but when you just look at the overall stats and who's been the dominant man of the night, or excuse me, the season, I should say, hoping to be the dominant man of the night, it's just been David Trailer. We can go all the way back to the start of the season. Got his first win at Auto Club, and then followed it up from there by getting the job done at Indianapolis. That was race win number 2. He got a win at Charlotte. That was number 3. Got a win later at Kansas to open up the playoffs. That was 4. Nashville was number 5. Chicago was number 6. And then you look back to last week at Homestead, Miami. That was number 7. He wants to make it the magical number 8 here tonight. We'll see if he can do it. Still a little bit of work to do, but he's up here now battling with your two leaders in Justin Parham. Another one of the drivers who may not necessarily have been the favorite, but he has had an outstanding season up to this point as well. Got his first win just 3 races into the season at Pocono, the Tricky Triangle. That was where win number 1 came for Justin Parham, and that wasn't his only victory. Down victory lane yet again in the first race of the round of 16. That was at Texas Motor Speedway. Since then, Justin Parham has not been able to find victory lane again. We'll see if maybe tonight's his night. He's going to have to fend off his teammate here, David Trailer. He wants a shot at it. Jay Stinson, driver the number 2 truck for Venom Racing. Him and his teammate Joey Hickox both made the playoffs. Both were able to advance all the way through to the championship 4. And for Jay Stinson, looking kind of at his season, got a win at Talladega, kind of that wild card track that you wondered who was going to get the job done at. And that was indeed Jay Stinson for Venom Racing. And we talked about, you know, him and Joey being 2 teammates in this championship 4, but you can't forget about the fact that Parham and David Trailer are 2 teammates as well. So just before we go back up front, that leads us to your final championship 4 driver, and that is Joey Hickox, who has also found victory lane this season. Most recently, got the job done at Las Vegas. That was the only track that Joey has won at to date so far this season. But still looking to see if he can get his second NOMA Truck Series championship in just 3 seasons. Have to see how it pans out. All right, back up front we go. These two still side by side here as they work their way off of turn number 4. By the way, just 11 of 150 laps complete. Going to be 12 now as they cross the stripe that time. But man, it is still a 3-way battle, and all 3 trucks are each running a different lane. On the bottom, it's David Trailer trying to get around the inside here of Justin Parham. Parham still sticking in the middle. You saw Matthew Fritz going all the way up top. Not going to be able to do it that time as, Parham slipped, got a little too high into the entry of the corner, and went right into that outside wall. He's going to fight hard, though, here with his teammate. He does not want to give up this track position. And what we're seeing right now is almost kind of similar to what we saw in Las Vegas, where it just seemed like if you were on this outside line, it was such a tough pass to make on the inside. And, of course, his tires wear out. That pass just gets tougher and tougher to complete. And for David Trailer right there, that's what's going to get him nervous. His big slip-ups like that, as loose as he got, he still stays side by side, but that's a really, really quick way to start burning your rear tires, and this is a track where you do not want to have that issue, especially when you think about the fact that we're really only 13, 14 laps in. I know David Trailer has said before in some of the post-race interviews he likes the tracks where it feels like you're kind of slipping and sliding, but this may be just a little bit too much here, too early for the 54. Either way, though, he is going to complete that pass on his teammate. The 19 of Justin Parham, that's going to swamp the 2 Grandstand Racing teammates. Now Justin Parham going to have to try to go back to work here. He's also going to try to fend off Matthew Fritz, who had a bit of a run. But he's not going to take a peek that time. He'll stay on the top lane and kind of running a little bit of a straddle on that 3rd seam. And he does get to the outside of Justin Parham here. We'll see if he's got enough momentum to complete the pass. Trailer drops down to provide any drafting support to his teammate that he possibly can, and that's going to keep Fritz at bay for the moment. But unless Parham's going to be able to completely slide up here, which is just not, and Fritz is going to keep getting that momentum on the outside each and every lap. Now Jay Stinson is going to come into the mix. So you have got 3 of your championship 4 drivers running inside the top 5 right now. The only one not in that position is Joey Hickox. who currently sits back in 8th, but really only 2 seconds behind the leaders. So still not, out of the question yet, but either going to have to find some speed here pretty soon. We're going to need to hurry up and get to that first stage, get a caution, and try to change something up. How about Grant Turner? Right now sitting in the 7th spot after qualifying 3rd here tonight. Grant Turner, the driver out of Akron, Ohio. Looking to see if he can end the season with a solid run here tonight. Grant did not make the playoffs, but has still been here, it felt like, kind of full-time once the playoffs started. You see the pedal cam there, too, and he is using a lot of both brake and throttle here. You probably don't see as much brake right now. What you are going to see is a lot of throttle control as he works through the turns, especially as you're initially trying to get back on the throttle. You got to kind of play with the throttle just a little bit. You don't want to mash it down. That's the easiest way to get the back of the truck out of shape. Start sliding around, but you also want to try to get it down quick enough to get some good momentum off the corner down the straight. So we appreciate Grant Turner carrying some cool onboard views for us here tonight. Meanwhile, as we go back up front, David Traylor, still your leader after he took that spot away. He has not looked back since. Meanwhile, in 2nd, Matthew Fritz in the 29. Still ahead of Parmas. Whoa, man, that was a big call right there for Jay Stinson. And did he just get loose, or did he clip the grass, or was it maybe a mixture of both? Wow, watch how close this is here for Jay Stinson as he's coming out of 4. He's on the high side. Truck's starting to get a little loose, and just starts to snap a little bit on him. He's got to cut it down. Clips a little bit of grass and then gets loose again. And it's an interesting setup here with the fact that it is that quad oval. You got to kind of almost turn into each portion of the straightaway. So like right about here, Stinson is already turning that wheel slightly left. He doesn't wait till he gets right to the kink. He knows that if he does that, it's going to cost him. And guess who? Joey Hickox now has it down to about 1.6 seconds. Has Hickox been saving some tires? Oh, trouble up front. Matthew Fritz got into the outside wall. The 29 digging, looking for a little more here, and even with that contact, he's still going to find a way to get to the outside of David Traylor here down the backstretch and into turn 3. Man, what a move. What a close call right there for the 29 of Matthew Fritz. Back to the story on Joey Hickox here, that we thought was struggling for some speed, but what he may have been doing is just saving more tire than everybody else. Hickox all of a sudden is now really tracking these leaders down. Next up to catch is going to be the 47 machine of Sam Boutwell. Once he gets by that truck, it'll set him up for the 3-wide battle up front. And man, you can see it out of the windshield just how tight these guys are battling. Matthew Fritz, though, able to go to the point, takes it away from David Traylor. And now you wonder if David Traylor and Justin Parham being trapped in a little bit of dirty air, how bad is this going to affect their trucks? Parham still hanging relatively strong, though, in that 3rd spot. Now he gets into the grass. A lot of trucks starting to struggle here at about the 21 lap mark, in terms of handling at least. We've still got a long ways to go, not only in the race, but even in this stage here. I mean, we're still about 15 laps away from when we're going to see that stage caution. Meanwhile, out back, Grant Turner following Joey Hickox to the front. Looks like now all of a sudden, those two have started to halt the progress they made forward. Certainly still some notes to jot down if you're Joey Hickox about how quickly he was able to make some time back once these tires wear it out when he saved some. I think maybe the only thing the 3 truck would have down to try differently with this strategy here in stage 2 is try to keep a little bit more track position before you save some tire. But either way, certainly looking like a pretty good call so far for Joey Hickox in terms of how long he saved tire before he decided to make his move towards the front. So Fritz continues to lead, but we've seen this with these two before. They will continue to battle most likely until we get to the end of the stage. And the question is going to be, at least for Matthew Fritz, can he hold on that long? The 29 was really using up his stuff by the outside wall. Did he use up too much of it? Or does he have enough left to still try to fend off the 54? By the way, if you're just tuning in, we appreciate you being here. You're watching the championship race for the Manny Rays NOMA Truck Series here on PGR eSports. GT500 Cobra, Grant Turner in the chat. Good to see you, David Traylor, as well, along with Senior True. Says, I wish I could join these boys tonight. And speaking of that, brief announcement, we might mention it again later, but NOMA did officially announce next season, which will start sometime, I believe they said mid to late February. The NOMA series will return, but instead of the trucks, it's going to be in the form of the next-gen cars. And they will go to a variety of tracks as well. Super speedways, mile and a half, short tracks, everything in between. So if you like what you saw with the trucks, just maybe not the biggest fan of the car, you're in for a little bit of a redesign here, and we are looking forward to it. There'll be a lot of recruiting done in the offseason to try to get some more drivers on board. The 47 of Sam Boutwell, you saw he was able to hook the apron right there through 3 and 4. He's got himself a really good line going. Looking out the gearbox view. See Joey Hickox now looking for a bit of a big run right here. If we go to a couple different angles here, there's the roof shot. Quite the view I was looking for, but either way, I mean, from the roll bar view for Sam Boutwell, right there, I mean, you just see how much that truck wiggles kind of in both ends as he works his way off the turn. That's just him getting loose. There's not much else to it. That's just the way that Legacy Atlanta races. It's a very, I wouldn't say it's the bumpiest track that these trucks go to, but it is still a pretty bumpy one, and the surface is just so old and slick that it's really, really tough to keep the truck under you once you get the tires worn out about 10 to 15 laps or so. Now, early on, of course, we see a lot of throttle time, and even for a while, we're still seeing these pretty big groups with a lot of trucks all together, but David Traylor has still not been able to get back up there and try to put another pass on Matthew Fritz, at least not yet. So we'll see if he can continue to try to make something happen here. Over the course of the next, he's got about 10 laps or so to go. Going to be 9 laps to go now in the stage as he crosses the line that time. David Traylor on the 54. QH Design sponsor. Just behind him, Justin Parham. Different paint scheme for Parham here tonight. Looks like he's got the Coke and Jack Daniels sponsor on. And so for Parham, that'd be a pretty cool paint scheme to win in. And I'm sitting here, by the way, I'm looking at Justin Parham's left front, and it keeps intriguing me because doesn't it look a little odd from that view? It certainly does. It looks like his tire is bouncing through the fender. And the reason that's weird is because if we go to some of these other trucks, it's the same way. I'm not sure if that's something to do with the most recent update or if it's a graphics issue. It doesn't look as bad on the regular camera views, but certainly something that catches your eye if the angle's right is, boy, Matthew Fritz into the outside wall again right there, but even with some of these mistakes that he's making, Traylor has still not been able to find a way back around. So I think if you're Matthew Fritz here, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Keep going for it. That high side's really dicey, but it's clearly shown that it has got a lot of speed as well as right there. That's where you get really nervous. He got really, really close right there on exit of the corner, tagging that outside safer barrier. David Traylor, though, has gotten this gap back down to within almost a tenth of a second. It'll fall back to 2 as they enter turn number 1. Justin Parham still hooking the bottom, trying to stick even, hoping that one of these two can make a mistake. He can pick up another spot, but again, this stage break does not mean anything. The only thing that you could even argue that you get from this is going to be track position. There's no points to be awarded here tonight. There's no bonus payouts for the stage. It's just to keep the format consistent with what we've seen the rest of the season and throughout the playoffs. But the only thing that matters here tonight, at least for these Championship 4, is going to be which one of them finishes the highest of the 4 running. And by the way, you probably figured it out by now, but on that scoring tower on the left side of your screen, the drivers that are highlighted in white, those are the drivers that are in the Championship 4 fighting to be crowned the NOMA Truck Series champion. Again, that is David Traylor, Justin Parham, Jay Stinson, and Joey Hickox. Everybody else highlighted in blue is just out here searching for trophies. And Matthew Fritz is on his way to doing that right now. 31 of 150 laps complete. So we are just over a fifth of the way through this race. And looks like David Traylor here, he's thinking about making another move to the bottom here if he can make it happen. Ooh, not quite going to be able to do it, at least not that time around. So Traylor's going to stay up top here right in the wake of Matthew Fritz, but he feels like maybe he's got just a little bit more grip up there. And now Traylor arcs it back down to the bottom. He got a pretty good exit right here. He's got another run on the 29 of Fritz here. Can he get close enough to do something into the corner? Not quite, but he's going to take another dive. Gets that nose just about a lane lower. If Fritz goes into the wall right here, Traylor's going to be able to shoot by, but the Venom Racing number 29 machine not going to flinch. Still able to hold a line, stays even. And this will be coming to just 3 laps to go in the stage. David Traylor wants to complete this pass now. He knows that they're running out of time if he wants to grab the stage win. While there may not necessarily be anything on the line for it, a lot of drivers can feel like it's a bit of a boost of momentum to get that early stage win. And for David Traylor right now, he looks like he is feeling exactly that way. 3 laps to go now here in stage number 1. David Traylor and Matthew Fritz continue to battle it out for the lead. Justin Parham right now in third, but waiting to see if one of these two make a mistake. Stinson and Grant Turner have faded back a little bit. And you've got Sam Boutwell, Joey Hickox, and Jonathan Herbert, with all trucks still currently running on the racetrack. David Traylor here, he's going to have 2 to 4 more shots at it here, depending on where he gets his run. Here we go. This is going to be a first shot at it. Another big look to the inside. The one thing that we have not seen David Traylor try yet is that slide job. Is he going to try it right here on the 29 of Fritz? Well, if he is, he's going to have to slide up now. Not quite able to complete it. David Traylor felt like he didn't quite have enough room to make it work that time. So he stays up, but he'll go right back down as they get into turn 3 and work through 4. This is going to be coming to the white flag here in the stage. This will be 1 lap to go here in stage number 1. Let's see who's going to get back to the green and white checkered first. Fritz needs to hold on for 2 more sets of corners. This trailer going to send it in this time. He's been getting a little more testy. Tried it again, but didn't feel like he had quite enough right there. And he's trying to stay side by side, but he's going to get loose. David Traylor just gets a little loose off of turn 2. He had a brief head shake. And that's going to show you all you need to see right there for Traylor. As hard as he was pushing, not quite going to be enough. Fritz had the high side, defended well. And as he comes off turn 4, he was able to do it last week, and he's going to do it again here tonight. Matthew Fritz takes stage 1 at Atlanta. So this will bring out the first caution of the night. As, by the way, for Joey Hickox here, they've had a brief issue as the caution comes out. Let's go back and look at this. This happened during the green flag run here. Watch the 3 truck as this is coming out of 4. And for Joey here, I don't think he was necessarily trying to pit. No, that's just him getting really, really loose and then has to catch it, get back on track. You wonder if maybe that is one of the things that initially led to the loss of track position there for the 3 truck. So Matthew Fritz, the driver out of Middletown, being scored as your leader now with 37 of 150 laps complete. And he is the winner of stage number 1. All right, well, as we go ahead and get ready for a few things here, we're going to see if we can talk to your championship 4 spread out through stage 1 and stage 2. So while we congratulate Matthew Fritz on the stage win, we're going to go ahead and see if we can pull up David Traylor here. Hey, David, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Austin.
Well, you find yourself right now in the 2nd spot. I mean, overall, it looked like a pretty good stage. You two had a pretty decent battle going on. What'd you make of it?
No love from another Venom Racing driver. I figured they wouldn't give me any extra room this week, and that's fine. I'll make an adjustment here and do what I need to do to, try to hold on to this lead and be smart the rest of this race.
We know that the actual stage breaks themselves don't necessarily matter all that much, at least not here tonight. But, I mean, you said last week in the post-race interview you love the tracks where it feels like you're slipping and sliding, and we've seen a lot of that. How do you kind of manage tire wear when they go away as quickly as they do here at Atlanta?
Luckily for me, like I said, I like it loose. So hopefully I can keep it under me for the most part. I know these guys don't probably like it as loose as I do. But just being easy and then finding the right time to go.
Sounds like a plan. Well, so far so good. David, we'll see if we're talking to you again at the end of the race. But for now, thanks for talking to us.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Austin.
All right. And as we go ahead and move David back down to his Grandstand Racing teammates, we'll go ahead and see if we can now pull up the next closest finisher in that stage, which was Jay Stinson, who has since had to go to the back here. Let's see if we can get him up here. Hey, Jay, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, what's going on, Austin? How you doing, buddy?
Not much. Well, man, you look pretty good through that first stage. First question I got, though, looked like the truck started to fall off a little bit later. You can't make any physical adjustments to the truck, but what do you try to change here to find a little bit more speed?
I used that first stage, kind of wore my tires out there in about the middle of it, and then was trying to figure out, once I did that, where can I run? So it's just kind of like trial and error, trying to get ready for that last run to see where you can and can't push it on a little bit older and worn tires. But I found a little bit more speed after I got the tires cooled down, and so just learning right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, indeed. And I'm looking here, and obviously it looks like it's got you now shown to restart near the back along with your teammate Fritz. You guys were just up at the front. What happened here under caution?
I ain't gonna lie to you, Fritz. My buddy there ran out of gas. I just want to make sure he made it in without having to go a lap down or having to tow, buddy. So I pushed him into the pit road.
I guess the question becomes then, if we get a late caution with 2 to go and he runs out of gas, you still going to push him to the pits at that point?
I'll probably let him fend for himself if it's that late, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, Jay, we appreciate you talking to us. I'll let you go as you guys set back up for green flag racing, but good luck the rest of the way.
No problem, buddy. I appreciate you, Austin.
Well, there you go. That explains that. And so that tells you how close they were on fuel. So maybe the saving that we saw from David Traylor wasn't as much to make it as it was to potentially make sure that he could make it to the pits afterwards. And that kind of works out for David Traylor and Justin Parham, as it now puts the 2 Grandstand Racing teammates here on the front row. They've got a couple cars separating them before you get back to the Venom Racing teammates of Hickox and Stinson. Matthew Fritz, of course, going to restart in 7th. All right. Stage 2 going to be just about 30 laps from when we get the green here, 31 to be exact. So it'll be 5 laps shorter. Fuel should not be a concern for this stage, but tire wear certainly still will be. Green flag back in the air. Stage 2 is underway here at Atlanta, and it's a good restart for the 54 of David Traylor. Gets out to a pretty early jump. The 19 of Justin Parham, his teammate, will shuffle in line just behind. This first lap on cold tires, this is always where things feel just a little bit sketchy. You're trying to take it easy. You're trying to make sure that you've got a pretty good handle on the truck. But it's just so tricky, especially through 3 and 4. It wants to snap loose as you're trying to push it as much as you can. But again, still waiting for those tires to get up to full temp, get warm, and get a little bit grippier. The way that they will here after we get a couple laps complete. Looking from some of the spectator views, the only side-by-side battle remaining right now after just a lap under green is the one that is for 4th place right now. Joey Hickox wrapping the bottom. Meanwhile, up top, Jonathan Herbert trying to hold even as those two continue to drag race. Grant Turner, he's going to choose to go to the inside. He'll work with Joey Hickox to try to get that 3 truck around. Not able to do it yet, but how about Parham? Goes up there and kind of asserts himself by just taking that lead away from David Traylor. Now, again, granted, we do think there's a possibility that it's just David Traylor trying to save some tire right now. But even for Justin Parham, getting that clean air, never a bad thing to have here at a track like Atlanta Motor Speedway, where it's just so tough to deal with when you get in dirty air, especially on old tires. And whoa, big moment out back here. Did Grant Turner hang on? He did. What a save that was from Turner, as Hickox may have had an issue there coming off of turn 2. Either way, they both had to make a big catch. Now that causes a brief stack up. Jonathan Herbert and Jay Stinson trying to regroup Matthew Fritz with his teammate Stinson. Those two have some work to do if they want to get back to the front here. I know that you've still got another stage and another restart, but I would think if you're one of these Championship 4, you want to restart as close as you possibly can to the other Championship 2, you know, for that final restart. And in this case, obviously for Stinson and Fritz, I mean, they're still sitting right now almost in the last 2 positions on the racetrack, as they're going to almost fan out 3 wide right there. Stinson trying to get to the bottom here. He might get it. Ooh, one in the wall. It was Joey Hickox. That's going to cost him a little bit of momentum here. Jay, though, going to cut him some slack, and he'll jump right back in behind his teammate. And so, by the way, when they cross the line next time, it'll be 45 of 150 laps complete, which will leave us with just 25, make it 26 laps to go in this second stage. Talk about nothing on the line, but for David Traylor, you heard what he said, too. He said he felt like the Venom Racing drivers have not cut him any sort of a break here tonight, and he says that's okay. I'll make another adjustment to it, but you wonder if they get back up there with that 54. These guys start either getting A, a little physical with each other, or B, just a little too much to racing and let the leader go. Traylor right now, I mean, he cares about trying to catch Parham because Parham's a Championship 4 driver, but if that was Grant Turner, say, that's in the lead and Traylor was in second, he could care less how much of a lead Grant Turner pulls out to. It's all about trying to keep the other 3 Championship 4 drivers behind you. And right now, Justin Parham is doing just that. You mentioned for the 19 truck, he was the champion last season. So he'll be looking to go back-to-back if he can get the win here or just finish the highest of your Championship 4 here tonight. Joey Hickox now looks to be running the high side of the racetrack here. You wonder if he's already starting to struggle with handling or if he just feels like his truck's a little better up there. Either way, for Joey Hickox right now, see, he gets caught in a little bit of that dirty air as he goes down to the corner. He did run the bottom right here. Ooh, blinking out just a little bit right there. That was a close call for Joey Hickox. But I was going to say, it's interesting. You see him running the bottom right there through 3 and 4, but I believe over here in 1 and 2, he's been running the top. Let's see if that's the case, or does he go back down to the bottom? No, it looks like that time he does go back to the bottom, so he's given up on this high lane for now. Up front, though, it doesn't look like Grant Turner has. The 93 with a big run and a big head of steam, and Grant Turner here is looking to see if he can dive clear Justin Parham into turn 3. And as much as he dives it in, it is not quite going to be enough. Drag race back to the line that time, but it's going to still go to Justin Parham. We saw this with Fritz and David Traylor at the end of stage 1, where you might be faster than that truck in front of you and be able to jump to their inside, but it's just so difficult to complete the pass from the inside unless you try basically a slide job and just kind of sail it in and then let it drift up and hope that it sticks. But right now, that is just not the case for Grant Turner. He is still stuck on this inside with the 19 on his outside and the 54. David Traylor in really close proximity as well. So as they now take 49 of 150 laps complete, David Traylor searching around. He's looking for a little bit of clean air. He's going to get it. The 93 gets his nose chopped off. Grant Turner is going to lose all of the front downforce he had, as he'll now lose one spot here to David Traylor, and he's going to have to hope that he can slot in line further back. And another truck tapping the outside wall right there. That was Jonathan Herbert. That's, by the way, Matthew Fritz still in that last position. Jay Stinson in 6th. These two have just not been able to really gain much yet from where they restarted here for this second stage. As we're now officially a third of the way through this race. We're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stick with us. We'll be back at the Manny Rays Championship race at Atlanta.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Have created our own drink company. The fastest growing sports drink in history.
We will run! We will run! Ladies and gentlemen, we got the monkey has prime! This season, we are hydrated!
The official sports drink of the UFC. It's time! Oh, that's good.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing. Three by three. Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. Finish. Who gets it at the line? Cody Nagels wins it at Talladega.
Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway with the Manny Rays Championship race for the NOMA Truck Series, final race of the season, and potentially the final truck race that we ever see for the NOMA Association side of things. Once again, we will be moving to the Next Gen Cup Series. I guess I should say the Next Gen cars. It'll still be the NOMA Series for next season. And so with 56 of 150 laps complete, now 57, that'll put us at exactly 14 laps away here from the end of stage number 2. And right now it is still all a battle between the two Grandstand Racing teammates. They have been money up here at the front of the field. Parham just kind of running in the draft right now. David Traylor, but not necessarily making a move. They might be trying to work together to kind of pull away a little bit. And you saw briefly there, we had a little bit of a mess out back starting to form up, as now it looks like we might get a pass for the lead. We'll go back up front here to see if Parham can make this work. Not that time. The 19's going to have to stay tucked in where he's at. David Traylor Looks like he is feeling very, very comfortable right now at the front of this field. Going on back to some of the trucks that had some ground to make up. Jay Stinson was one of them, and right now, at 2 trucks on the move. Seemed like it had taken him kind of forever to really get going in this stage, but that may have just been him saving some tire because he is now made up about 4 or 5 spots from where he started this stage at. When you've only got a field that's 8 trucks deep, I mean, that's a pretty impressive stat in of itself. And for Stinson here, he's not done just yet. He has made that commitment now to the high side of the racetrack, though, so he has to hope that he doesn't overshoot and get into that outside wall. That could certainly spark some trouble for the 2 truck. Still running right by that wall. Man, he gets closer and closer each and every lap, it feels like. And man, looks like he may have had Parham briefly actually skim the wall up further towards the front. And for the 2 of Jay Stinson right here, let's go to the onboard view here for a lap or so and watch just how close he gets to this outside wall. And this view, I feel like, doesn't do it as much justice. So we'll go to the cockpit view. This is what a driver sees. I mean, this is exactly pretty much what it looks like from a view of any driver that has a typical single monitor. And for Stinson right here, he's going to have to go to the inside of Boutwell, so you're not going to get the full view this time. And notice as he runs kind of that arc off the corner, trying to get a run here on Boutwell. Ooh, he had to bail out of the throttle. He'll slot back up, but that's going to cost him some time, and that almost feels like, I don't want to say payback, but maybe a little bit of team-on-team gains, just a little bit. Of course, Sam Boutwell out here running for everything he can, even though he's not in the playoffs anymore. But maybe a little bit of, hey, Sam, who's, of course, on Grandstand Racing, you know, maybe Trailer and Parham saying, hey, Sam, don't forget, Matthew Fritz, remember how hard he raced us? Make sure that you race any of those Venom Racing boys the same way if they try to get by you, and that may be why that we saw Boutwell not help Stinson out at all. And I mean, after fending him off right there, Boutwell looks like he's actually able to create a little bit of a gap here all of a sudden. So we'll keep an eye on those 2 as you see Matthew Fritz just behind Jay Stinson. He's also working his way back to the front of the field, running the bottom of the racetrack. And then for the 47, he's looking up to the 19 of Justin Parham, who had been sticking with his teammate David Trailer for quite some time, but all of a sudden, that has changed. Parham has fallen almost a second back from David Trailer, as we'll be coming to 8 laps to go in the stage next time. And so for Justin Parham right here, he's hoping to get to the break just to maybe, again, try something a little different. All that speed that he had when he was running as close as he was to his teammate David Trailer, that's one of those things where you almost kind of watch it and kind of wonder, should he maybe back it off a little bit? You run that close, it's great down the straights, but he's just in so much dirty air through the corner. He's relying so heavily on those Goodyear tires that I think he burns them up a lot quicker than David Trailer, who of course has fresh air and clean air. But David, whatever adjustments he felt he needed to make for this stage, he's made them, and they are working out really well. He is doing a nice job. So we'll be coming to 7 laps to go for Joey Hickox. Right now back in the 6th spot, outside of the top 5. And then Jonathan Herbert, Grant Turner rounding out the field in 7th and 8th. So we're still not even at the halfway point in this race just yet. That won't be until we hit lap 75. So still plenty of racing to be done, but once we get to that final stage in terms of pit stops at least, you figure it seems like they could go at least 35 laps. That's if they had to save a little bit as well. So 70 laps seems very doable. I think the bigger question is going to be, when do we go back green at the end of the stage? If it ends up being, heck, I would say probably right around 75 or so. That leaves us with 75 laps to go. I mean, that still puts you about 5 laps short. You'd have to find a way to save another 2.5 on each run. I don't know if anybody's quite going to be able to do that. That's why I think it might become a 2-stop in that final stage. So we'll give you the blimp cam now. There's the gap again between 1st and 2nd, and then the battle for that 3rd spot. Stinson blows back up on the back bumper. Boutwell, whoa! And Stinson gets into the back of Boutwell, hooks him into the wall, and that could be major damage here for a couple of trucks that had a great opportunity here tonight. What in the world happened there? Jay Stinson and Sam Boutwell, that almost looked like a little bit of a kind of a, I don't know if the word would be a misjudgment, but it almost looked like what happened there was that Jay Stinson tried to give a shove to Sam Boutwell, and just again with how old these tires wear out here, I guess I should say how quickly they wear out, maybe just shot Boutwell a little bit loose. Let's back this all the way up a lap ago and show you that again. I mean, that was bizarre looking for these two. I know Stinson wasn't exactly too happy with Boutwell most likely, but again, I don't think that he was setting this up to do this intentionally here. I think he was just trying to give him a little bit of a push right here. Let's see. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe he did just misjudge it. That's a really odd look here for Stinson, who's got a big run and then just tags him in the left rear right there, and see Fritz go by. That's pretty significant damage for Jay. We'll see if he's able to, what he has to do with that, if he's able to get it fixed or something else. But man, crazy sequence of events. Watch that one more time here. We'll go to a different view, and then we got to go back and see what happened to Grant Turner now. I just saw his driver cam light up. Again, coming off the corner. Right here, you think, okay, he's just going to shoot by. No harm, no foul. But then right here, and watch how sideways this gets these two trucks. Just boom. To the outside wall they both go. Definitely lucky that that was not a whole lot worse. And now for Grant Turner, as we'll be coming to just 2 laps to go on the stage here, what has happened? The 93, who is struggling big time here. Did he have to make a big save? Or was it something else that happened here? I'm not sure. Either way, the 93 had been struggling big time here. He was nowhere near the field, and doesn't look like we're going to have time to find it right now, but Turner is still really struggling. There he goes. He's going to go to the outside wall. Grant Turner, major issue. I'm not sure if he had suspension damage and was trying to hold on, but as we have 2 laps to go, he's just trying to limp this thing to the finish here. And I don't know if he's going to make it. I mean, that is a tough truck to drive even on a normal surface, and he's trying. He's hoping to limp this around without losing a lap. Back into the outside wall he goes. For David Traylor here, he's going to have to hope that he doesn't catch up to Turner at the wrong time to keep these guys, again, in a little bit of an awkward spot. You see Grant Turner right now going into turn 3. I think he'll be okay here as long as he keeps it together. Well, this is the last lap for David Traylor, by the way. Turner trying to hold on. It looks like he will. And here's David Traylor down the back stretch. Joey Hickox, big moment out back. He gets really loose. Hickox was able to save it, though. Keeps it on track, so as they come off of turn 4, David Traylor, looking like one of the few trucks right now without a handling issue, made the adjustment, and he will take the Stage 2 victory here at Atlanta. So you had a Venom Racing driver take Stage 1. Now you get a Grandstand Racing driver take Stage 2. It's only reasonable enough that each of those teams have 2 of their drivers representing the championship for each. But for David Traylor, this is exactly what he was hoping for. It was a good, solid run here in Stage 2. Get a little confidence, get a little momentum going. And so now for David Traylor, it's going to be all about setting himself up for this final stage. An opportunity to go out here and win himself a NOMA Truck Series Championship. It's still a long ways to go. As a matter of fact, when I get back to Green Flag Racing, maybe a little bit more than just 75 complete. They may go to about 76, 77 before we get back to Green Flag, which could make fuel mileage even more interesting. Either way, as they'll bring it around to catch the pace car here. And as they prepare for pit stops, let's see if we can talk to your other 2 Championship 4 contenders, starting with Grandstand Racing's Justin Parham. Hey, Justin, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, man, so far, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster, but overall, you've had great top 3 speed, it seems like, for most of the night. But, I mean, this is the one race where you really do have to go out and beat your teammate. You guys can't work together as much as maybe you normally would. So what becomes the strategy here for this final stage to try to get past that 54 truck?
I just try not to use up my tires too much. Tires are definitely a big deal here. It's getting, very slippery off the corners. A lot of tire wear front right end on the right rear.
Well, it looks like we're going to change up a few things now. It looks like they may bring in one more of the Championship 4 drivers into the mix, depending on where you guys all restart. But, I mean, just in general, as the race picks up, you know that the intensity is as well. How do you kind of try to manage how aggressive you be? I mean, knowing that you, of course, have that fast pair, but knowing that if you make a mistake, you may not have time to get back up there.
I'm going to have to be a little bit aggressive, especially on this restart here, because I did get a little loose off, I think it was 2, front right, popped the wall and got a little bit of damage. I'm sitting here getting it fixed now, so I'll be starting in the back, so I'll have to work my way back up.
Indeed. Well, hey, Justin, we appreciate you talking to us. Still a long ways to go. We'll see if you can get it done here tonight. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
All right, now that'll bring us up to your final of the Championship 4 drivers that we're going to get a word with here tonight, and that is Joey Hickox. Hey, Joey, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, buddy.
Well, right now you find yourself in the 3rd spot. Looks like that might be where you restart. Big opportunity here. It's been kind of a bit of a struggle for everybody trying to get track position here tonight. How do you go take advantage of it?
I don't know. You got any ideas?
I might have a couple here watching the way some of you guys have been racing each other, but it's been tough. I mean, from what we've seen, is it just more so the tire wear, or is it just the handling of the truck that's been the biggest issue?
It feels pretty good for about 10 laps, and then it just falls off a cliff. I think the fastest trucks here tonight's definitely that 54 and that 29.
Definitely seems that way right now. Well, it looks like you guys are lining up to get back to green flag racing. So just one more question here before we let you go. Looks like fuel mileage is going to be close. Is there a possibility that you stretch it to a one-stop, or do you think you're still going to have to make two?
I'm going to shoot for a one-stop here. We'll kind of see what kind of fall-off we have on this last run, but I'm going to try to make it in one.
Sounds like a plan. Well, Joey, we appreciate you talking to us. Still a lot of racing to go. Good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thanks, buddy.
All right, there you go. Joey Hickox. Again, going to restart from the third spot up front. It's David Traylor, who again was your Stage 2 winner. Jonathan Herbert second. There's Hickox third. Matthew Fritz, your Stage 1 winner, back in fourth. We got one going by all of them right now. That's Stinson. I wonder if he's trying to go get a lap back here. Not sure what's going on with the two truck. If we're going back green this time, which we are. Stinson going back down to the pits. Wow. Very interesting call right there for the two truck Stinson. Not sure what happened, but either way, we'll line him back up here. So at the moment, Jay Stinson going to be in the worst spot of all your leaders as David Traylor back into the Geico restart zone. The final stage in the championship race is underway at Atlanta, and it's a good restart for David Traylor. He's going to leave the inside line in the dust. Looks like the outside gets a pretty good jump, though. Jonathan Herbert, see if he can work his way down to the bottom of the racetrack. Matthew Fritz is there as well. Remember that all this side-by-side action, or excuse me, I guess I should say all the single-file action is keeping everybody from wearing their tires out too much. If you're David Traylor, you're going to go right back to what's been working all night. And the good news here for Traylor is that the fastest truck, at least championship contender-wise, that he's had a race so far tonight has been his teammate, the 19 of Parham, and he currently sits back in sixth. For Parham, that is a lot of ground to make up, and he said he was going to have to be aggressive on this restart. But can he be aggressive enough? Because you got to remember, the more aggressive you are, the more you wear your stuff out. You still need it here for what's going to be a relatively long run at probably about 35 laps or so. As, by the way, we are now officially over the halfway point in this 150-lap event here tonight. Man, that was a big, big block right there by David Traylor trying to hold off Matthew Fritz. And the other thing that I was going to say here is, realistically, you could start to ask yourself, well, I think David's saving some gas here. Let's go to the onboard view and see if it sounds like that. I mean, Herbert just got right by him there. That almost seemed too easy for Jonathan Herbert. Let's see what he does here into turn number 3. There you go. All right, so puts the clutch in. So that answers that question. For David Traylor, he is saving fuel, so he's going to try to stretch this to a one-stop as well. We'll have to see if that strategy holds up for everybody or if it maybe falls through. Now, either way, you think about the fact that, I was going to say that for Fritz here, while he's not a Championship 4 driver, he is teammate to some of the Venom Racing boys, and as fast as he's been here tonight, if he gets in front of Traylor gets too much to battling with that 29 truck, that could potentially hold them up a little bit, which would help some of the Venom Racing guys out. But you could see there that David Traylor says, nope, you can have it. I'm going to sit back here and save fuel in the draft. You guys go right on ahead. I'll see you later on in this race. So as they now cross the line, 79 of 150 laps complete. And once we get to probably that lap 100, and I'd say it's probably going to be realistically right around 110, maybe 115 is when we would expect. I think 115 is when we would expect to see that last pit stop, pretty close to that mark if you're going to make it on a one stop. Much sooner than that, I think you're going to have to keep it to 2. Obviously, 4 tires and fuel going to be a big thing here for this next pit stop. I just don't think you can try any way without it. And by the way, looking at some of those dashboard speeds again here for Jonathan Herbert, Joey Hickox, running in the draft over 180 miles an hour down the straightaway here at Atlanta. Again, track temp relatively cool, at least for in terms of making the track and the grip anywhere less than what it already is. 82 degrees, so again, not making that any more of an issue than what it already is, but still very high speeds here, even though it is Legacy Atlanta at a track that you feel like is so hard to get the truck to make any speed or get any grip. Still one of the fastest tracks that we run this season. But for Jonathan Herbert, how about this? A driver who made it all the way to the round of 8, had an opportunity to advance into the Championship 4, but just couldn't quite get it done. Still making the best of his opportunities, as here tonight finds himself again leading this race. He's up 6 positions from where he started at. He's going to be trying to pick up a few more here. Excuse me, well, not right now, but he's going to be trying to hold on and not lose any more here for the remainder of this race. 82 now of the 150 complete. Joey Hickok second. Matthew Fritz still in third. David Traylor in fourth. And you can see his teammate now, Justin Parham, has caught up. He is now to the back bumper of the 54 truck. Sam Boutwell there as well. And these three, or at least these two, again, got to think for now that they're just concerned with saving fuel and not necessarily doing anything else. Sam Boutwell rounding out that group, and then Grant Turner off pace. Not sure if he still has that damage from earlier or if he's just not been able to find speed since then. And then for Jay Stinson, he has retired from this race at the moment. Not sure what happened for Stinson, but man, you really hate to see that. So for Jay at the moment here, actually as he sits in the pits here, I was hoping we could go bring him in here to see if we could figure out what happened, but as he is not in the Discord anymore, that is a really, really tough break. So yeah, I mean, that's a big, big swing of things. Jay Stinson, one of your Championship 4 drivers, appears to be officially eliminated here tonight after making a pit stop. We're not exactly sure what for. 83, it was actually probably, it was just before the restart when he made that stop. So just about the halfway point in this race. That now makes it down to just 3 drivers in contention for that championship trophy. And so for Hickox at this point, you almost wonder, is he committing to just trying to make this thing on a 2-stop? Or maybe he threw us a little bluff up here in the broadcast booth about what his strategy was going to be in the hopes that, I don't know, maybe David Traylor was watching. Either way, for Joey Hickox right now, it seems like he's running a pretty strong pace. Certainly a lot faster than you would think for somebody who's trying to stretch this a little bit on fuel. Maybe David Traylor just saving some tire. No, I still hear that clutch going in. Traylor's still saving quite a bit right here. Look at that time delta comparison, by the way, between Joey Hickox, or rather Matthew Fritz, and David Traylor. You can see that Traylor has just continued to lose a little bit more and more each and every lap that goes by here, but he continues to save more and more fuel in the process of doing so. They cross the line now, 86 of 150 laps complete here in the NOMA Truck Series presented by Manny Rays Championship. So we're going to go ahead and take another break, but we'll go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stick with us. We'll be back at Atlanta.
I played a couple of simulators, and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
But you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Have created our own drink company. The fastest growing sports drink in history.
We want pride! We want pride! Ladies and gentlemen, we got
The monkey has pride!
this season, we are hydrated!
The official sports drink of the UFC. It's time!
Oh, that's good.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing.
3x3.
Almost trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. To the finish. Who gets it at the line? Cody Nagels wins it in Talladega.
Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Just before we bring you back to full screen, wanted to give everybody a quick reminder of where PGR eSports heads next. It'll be over to the PGR Light Series on Monday night. If you're interested, you can race in that or watch it. Either way, it'll be in PGR eSports, so make sure you check that out. Back to the action happening on track. And by the way, we don't have obviously any further info on what to expect next season for NOMA. All we know is about the car change and a general time of when the season will start. So if you're interested in more or want to hear future updates, make sure that you do join the NOMA Discord, which we have in the description for this video. So back to, again, where we left off here with the action on track. So it's 93 of 150 laps complete. Joey Hickox leads, Jonathan Herbert second, Matthew Fritz in third, and then the two Grandstand Racing teammates, Justin Parham and David Traylor, right now sitting in fourth and fifth. And these two, at least one of these two, I'm not sure if Parham's in the same boat. We'll take a listen here as he gets into turn one. You hear him bail out of the throttle. Not the same way that Traylor does. Traylor's still pushing the clutch in, trying everything he can to save fuel. However, it seems like, at least right now, for Justin Parham, if he's saving, he's not saving much. But for Hickox here, I mean, he's committing to, I think, running this thing pretty much as hard as he can, and maybe hoping that those guys just can't quite make it, have to make an extra stop, or that he can make enough time here by just pushing the pace the way he is currently to try to catch these guys, even if they are saving a lot of fuel at the end. Either way, we're still about, I'd say, anywhere from about 10 to 20 laps away from pit stops, maybe more so 15 to 20 laps away. So I think we're expecting right around lap 110 to lap 115. But besides the strategy play, I mean, that's really, for the most part at least, the main racing that we have going on the racetrack right now. There is a little bit of a battle for second starting to develop here, as looks like Matthew Fritz once by Jonathan Herbert here in the 87. Fritz trying to work out for a little bit of a side draft there through the short chute. Wasn't able to make anything happen as the quad oval got him just a little bit loose. As he gets to 1 and 2, speaking of loose, Jonathan Herbert got wicked loose right there. That's going to cost him a little bit of time. And that time is going to be enough. That for Herbert, though, that time isn't going to be enough for Herbert to lose that spot just yet. Fritz got clear for a second, but he wasn't quite able to slide up. That allows Herbert to, again, stay to his outside. The longer he does that, the more it wears the tires for Matthew Fritz. For David Traylor, Justin Parham, they are now starting to track back down the leaders here, not just these two, but also Joey Hickox, who had about a 1.7, 1.8 second gap. That has now been trimmed down to 1.2 and 1.3 seconds. So if you're Joey, obviously, again, at this point, I think you're committed to, you just got to go as hard as you can for as long as you can. But the worry here is that you know David Traylor, Justin Parham can go longer than you now. The only other hope would be that they obviously can't make it on a one stop. If they can do that, I think if you're Joey Hickox here, your chances are done. You lost your other teammate, Jay Stinson, so he's got to kind of feel a little bit kind of by himself here tonight. Of course, he's still got Matthew Fritz in here. Fritz not running for a championship 4, but right now is in that second spot. Joey said he thinks that 29 truck may be the fastest one on the racetrack. See if Fritz has anything to say, if David Traylor's able to get up there in terms of trying to hold him up a little bit, or if he'll just let him go by without any further issues. And every time Joey blinks out like that, it affects him just a little bit. Maybe not enough, arguably, to make anything bad happen, but certainly enough to cost him just a little bit of time every time it happens. Either way, though, ooh, man, Parham, whoa, big wiggle right there for the 19 coming off of turn number 2. Right as they're getting ready to hit the lap 100 mark. For Justin Parham, that was a big catch right there to keep all 4 tires under him. And for David Traylor, that may have costed him just a little bit of time here. But either way, those two are still trying to close it in now under a second, and they've gotten that. For Joey Hickox here, what has happened? to the 3 truck to lose so much time that last lap. Was he just slow? Or did he make a mistake here? Coming off of 4s where he really, really lost a ton of time. Did he have an issue? He did. He's going to get loose right here. Big lift out of the throttle, gets the grass. Now he's going to have to just kind of breathe the throttle a little bit right there again to catch it. So yeah, that explains how Joey Hickox lost all of his time right there. So Fritz still behind him. Right now, kind of the safety blanket, but you can see there just behind Fritz, too wide between the Grandstand Racing teammates. David Trader on the inside with Justin Parham on the outside, and then behind them, the 87 of Jonathan Herbert and the 47 of Sam Boutwell. Hickox briefly scrapes the outside wall again. He still needs to try to find a way to survive. Again, about another 9 to 15 laps or so from now. A long ways to go when you have a truck that it feels like is starting to lose its edge and handling, if you will. Ooh, Parham gets into the wall as well. That's going to cost Parham a position here. Trader's going to get by. Whoa, Parham. He's going to lose it. Justin Parham's going to go around. No, he saves it. Oh, my goodness. 19's still trying to save it. He almost loops it around. Now he finally, will he? The 19 has still not been able to gather that truck up. He's finally going to, but after about an entire straightaway of what should have been a wrecked race car, and I hate to say it, and I can certainly appreciate the fact that Parham didn't do this, but man, at some point there, you thought he was just going to lock it down and let it slide. As much time as he lost continuing to overcorrect that, he would have been better just sliding up, grabbing a yellow from it. But either way, this was a heck of a job still at the end of the day just to hold on to this truck by Parham, who's going to get loose at the start of the straightaway and just never lets him fully catch it. Watch this. There he goes. He comes off turn 4, slight contact. Then he's going to start to get loose, goes down, corrects once, and then right there as he picks up the throttle, gets loose again, overcorrects back again. Looks like he's got it here, but he just never really gets it back. And then down here in the grass as he's trying to save it, just keeps overcorrecting. The truck just on such old tires that just keeps sliding out from him. And I can tell you kind of, as partially a driver and a broadcaster, as a driver though, that is so frustrating. I mean, you're sitting there telling yourself, come on, straighten out already. And it just never does so for Justin Parham, and that is going to end his chances as well, unless we get a caution or something that can bring him back into this mix. Watch this again here from a bit of a different angle from TV1, as a matter of fact. And again, watch where it starts. Slight contact in the wall. And now he's just going to get loose to the quad oval. Corrects, overcorrects again. Right here, he's about 45 degrees sideways. That was a heck of a job by, two trucks, Sam Boutwell and Jonathan Herbert, to both miss him, but obviously, they lose a lot of time in the process. As here's another view of it here. Back this up one more time. And this is the onboard view here. We're going to go for Sam Boutwell. As you can see, Boutwell sees his teammates battling just a couple rows up front right there. Sees the contact. Sees Parham starting to get loose. He goes to go high. Sees Parham correct again. Looks low. Now he sees the 19 start to come down. He just can't seem to figure out where to go. Finally, the C's part, and the 47 is able to go high. However, not the way that he certainly wanted it to pan out. Pit stops underway. The first two in are going to be two of the Venom Racing teammates, Joey Hickox and Matthew Fritz, and this is still a decent strategy call for these two. Now, again, if Trailer and Company can make it on one stop, this doesn't work out for them regardless. But if he can't, them coming in together like this, they're going to be able to work together a little bit with the draft, and that may very well help them out. Joey Hickox getting tires on the left and right. Fritz did as well, and they will both burn it down out of their pit box here. They're going to get out as quick as they possibly can. By the way, Justin Parham did fall a lap down after that close call. I believe he may have went in for a pit stop. But either way, again, a tough break for Parham. He will need a caution to have a chance at it. Right now for David Traylor, though, still out on the racetrack. And with as early as those guys just had to pit, the two that we just saw make their stop, Hickox and Fritz, I almost start to get less and less confident about the possibility of anybody being able to stretch this thing to a one-stop. I mean, if you're Trailer, you still got to go another 7, 8 laps or so. I mean, that is a long ways to go, even if you were saving quite a bit of fuel. We'll have to see, though, if David Trailer is able to make it happen. 108 of 150 laps complete here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. If you're just tuning in or you've been watching, we certainly appreciate everybody sticking with us here tonight for the final race of the NOMA Truck Series. And for those of you that have stuck around throughout the season to check in on the broadcast, I don't see Miss Nancy Hickox in the chat here tonight. We hope that she's watching, but if not, wanted to give her a shout out. As right now for Joey Hickox and Fritz, they're making up a ton of time. And this is going to be the big kicker right here for David Traylor. He's kind of going for broke with this strategy call. So you got to think that not only him, but also the NOMA guys are feeling a little bit of stress on who's going to make it work. But here we go. Look at the lap times for David Traylor. We go down and compare that to Joey Hickox. The last lap for Hickox, first lap under full pace, was a 31 flat. Let's watch this lap here, which is going to be the second lap under full pace. And it looks like that one right there is going to be a 31.1. You compare that to Traylor. He's running 32.8s, 32.9s. So they are already on almost 2 seconds worth of tire fall off. And again, the longer that Traylor stays out, the worse it's going to be. But again, kind of, I guess, the flip side of that, you would assume at least, would be that if Traylor makes this on a 1-stop, he wouldn't have to worry about it. Now, if he's going to have to do a 2-stop, and boy, it's going to be a rough position here for David Traylor. I just don't know how well it's going to work out. Let's hop on board, though, here and see if he's still saving a little bit. Yes, he is. Rides the clutch into the corner. It's a roll about halfway through before he eventually picks the throttle back up. 155, almost 150 down at his slowest point in the corner. If you're David Traylor at this point, I mean, all you can really do is, like we said just a couple of laps ago, you got to commit. I mean, you really kind of can't bail at this point. He's hoping to stretch it about another 4 laps. And again, he's got Hickox and company a lap down at the moment. So I would say this strategy still has some viability here, as long as he can commit to making it work for both. If he can't stretch it, though, then it doesn't matter, and it completely blows the strategy on both ends. Here comes Joey Hickox running a whole lot faster. The 3 truck going to go by the inside. He'll get around the 54 David Traylor. As he jumps up now, Matthew Fritz is going to follow as well. Fritz not able to quite get there yet. 29 going to stay back a little longer. And again, for Joey here, he doesn't care about if Matthew Fritz gets by him. And even for Justin Parham and his sake, as you see David Traylor now bring it down to the pits this time. Looks like the 19 will go in as well. So for Traylor, man, I just don't know. That was a really early stop. He's still going to have about 38 laps to go here by the time he gets out of the pits. I'm just not sure about this one here for Traylor. That's a long ways to go, and I don't think he stretched it to quite 38 laps on that run right there. So we'll have to see what happens. But either way, for David Traylor, this is going to be kind of a make-or-break strategy right here. He's been dominant in terms of raw speed all season. But it doesn't always come down to speed. It can come down to strategy as well. And you never know if tonight maybe the strategy not going to be on his side. He'll work his way out of the pits now. And you should see a pretty decent gap between him and Hickox. Yeah, Hickox off of turn 2 as Traylor was just leaving the pits. And for Grant Turner here, he'll get down to speed without any issues. So the number 93 Hot Wheels Toyota Tundra now in the pits for what will be his first of 2 pit stops. So by the way, we still expect a couple of pit stops here, or rather just one more sequence of pit stops, I should say, from everybody at this point except potentially David Traylor. So again, we'll set you up with the way strategy is looking at the moment here. Again, Joey Hickox right now leads the race. He is on a 2-stop strategy with his teammate Matthew Fritz. They know they cannot make it from here. They have to pit again. David Traylor in a little bit of a different boat. He seemed to be trying to stretch it to a 1-stop. If that was the case, in theory, he should be able to make it from here the rest of the way. Now, whether or not he can do that, that's going to be the big question. You hear him pushing the clutch in right there. And I think ideally here, in terms of how much fuel he can save and still getting that track position back, is probably, I don't know the exact time, but probably somewhere around, as long as he's within probably 25 to 40 seconds of Joey Hickox would be my best guess. That might be a little bit far, especially if, you know, for Joey and Fritz. Well, I just don't know, because it's going to depend what they take here on this next stop as well. Either way, this is going to really be an interesting way to end the final race in the championship at that of the season here, with a bunch of different strategy calls. Joey Hickox, I would make the argument that he maybe came in as either the biggest underdog or the second biggest underdog to win the championship, strictly because the 3 truck has just had a lot of really bad luck this season. Of course, Joey has a win to his name, but besides that, there's just been a lot of things that have not gone in the favor of this 3 truck, but that could all change here tonight if he can claim yet another NOMA Truck Series Championship title. And right now, that is again a very likely possibility with where he runs if David Traylor can't make it. Traylor right now, by the way, about 13 seconds back from your 2 leaders. That is as we're coming to about, looks like it's going to be about 32 laps to go, 33 laps to go rather, as they cross the line this time. And so with that, as we continue to await when we're going to see this final pit stop, we're going to go ahead and take another break. We'll go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stick with us as Joey Hickox leads the championship here at Atlanta.
I played a couple of simulators, and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Have created our own drink company. The fastest growing sports drink in history.
We want pride! We want pride! Ladies and gentlemen, we got
Monkey is prime!
this season, we are hydrated.
The official sports drink of the UFC. It's time!
Oh, that's good.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing. Three by three. Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. Finish. Who gets it at the line? Cody Nagels wins it at Talladega.
Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway as we're closing in on the final portions of the championship race here tonight. By the way, I do want to give a bit of a quick shout out to all the sponsors that have helped make NOMA possible, even through a season that, again, saw some decline in attendance, but everybody knows that you still could not make the season happen without all the sponsors. First and foremost, obviously, Manny Rays, the title sponsor and partner of the Manny Rays NOMA Truck Series, so thank you to them for all that they've done. And, of course, sponsor of tonight's race with Manny Rays Championship here at Atlanta. And again, if I pronounce a couple of these names slightly wrong, I apologize. I don't think we will, but just in case. Abingdon Collision and Towing. That was one of the new sponsors that jumped on board this season. Again, we appreciate them for everything they've done. Rhino Linings of Bristol started last season. They renewed for this season. And of course, Flatwoods, who has been around for a while for all that they do. Blue Ridge Auto Group, they've also been around for a while for the NOMA some of the different NOMA series. H&H Tractor Work, M&M Pet Sitting, and then MOZA Racing. Again, a big thank you to all the sponsors that help make things possible, and we hope to see them all back once the NOMA guys get back going here in just a couple of months. Well, some news that you officially see now that we've came back from break. A second of your championship 4 drivers has retired, and it is Justin Parham. That leaves just 2 left. I mean, who would have guessed that things would have played out this way? You've got Grant Turner, who's a lap down. But again, the only 2 trucks out of the race are 2 of your championship 4 contenders. Jay Stinson, who had to get out earlier after making a pit stop. Again, not exactly sure what happened. And then Justin Parham, who again has just recently retired from the race, again due to some sort of issue for himself as well. So for David Traylor and Joey Hickox, that's the battle. And Buster Malcolm, by the way, Nancy Hickox is in the chat, says, I'm watching Austin trying to figure out how this is going to end. Buster Malcolm says Fritz is moving in. He is. You got that right. Fritz is closing in. However, what you're going to see here is Fritz is going to be extremely delicate with how he works with his teammate. But Hickox, whoa. Joey Hickox, big moment. He's going to go around. Oh, no. Joey Hickox, he's going to try to wheel out of this one here. Can he save it? The 3 truck's going to gather it back up. He's got to get back on track. He's losing all sorts of time right here. And, oh, man, just as we started setting ourselves up for explaining how Hickox was going to try to win this race, he makes a huge mistake coming off of turn 4. That loses him at least 3 or 4 seconds worth right here. And it's a similar issue that we saw a couple of drivers having earlier where you just get loose off of 4 and old tires. These trucks are just so tough to gather back up here. Truck starts to go on him, goes through the grass, and then right here, tries to mash the throttle back down. It starts to go on him again. Eventually here he has to commit to just rolling out of it, catching it. He does do a good job of kind of finally just kind of stopping the bleeding right there. But man, that is a tough break for Hickox, who's going to make that pit stop now. He feels like he's had enough of these tires. And so with 22 laps to go, this is still the question of how far out will David Traylor be, and can Traylor make it on fuel, because that's really going to be what determines who wins this race. Matthew Fritz, who was closing in, was of course able to take the lead, but he is not one of the championship 4 drivers. He is fighting for a trophy here tonight or to help his teammate, and that is it. So we'll wait to see when Fritz pits, but I think for Joey, that may have been a pretty smart decision. He already had burned his tires up, and that whole sequence on the front stretch made him that much worse. So David Traylor here, as they have now worked their way out, here's what it's looking like. Joey Hickox right now is being scored a lap behind the leaders, and David Traylor right now is about 8 seconds behind Fritz. So Joey has to make up over a lap's worth of time here on David Traylor, unless Traylor pits, and then it makes things a little more interesting. So that is going to be the big question here, is can David Traylor stretch this thing all the way to the finish on fuel? Now, depending on where he sputters, that could obviously play a pretty big factor as well. If he sputters, I would say any time from right about there, maybe even halfway down the back, maybe even a little bit before then, he should be still okay to make it. You hear that he is using a lot of the clutch on entry to both corners of the racetrack, just trying to do whatever he possibly can to save fuel and have a shot at winning this race, because I think even with that mistake that Hickox made at this point, if David can't make it on fuel and he has to pit, I would think that Joey Hickox would have the advantage, especially again with the difference in lap times that they're running. David Traylor, last couple laps, 32.2, 32.3. Credit to Joey Hickox. This will be his, I believe, his first lap up to full pace here. Actually, we'll have to give him a moment. Joey Hickox, I guess maybe not as fast as we thought he would be that last lap, as either that or a scoring has messed up. Maybe he had clipped the grass or so. Either way, point to be made right now for Joey Hickox is he needs to run as hard as he can, and he needs to hope that David Traylor either has to pit for fuel or runs out of fuel trying to stretch it. 17 and a half laps to go now here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Is up front, David Traylor still trying to catch Matthew Fritz, who leads the way, and his margin over second still over 8 seconds. And the margin between David Traylor, Jonathan Herbert, not very much. Herbert closing in on Traylor here. Can he potentially try to set up a move? I think even if he did, I don't think you're going to see David Traylor try to race him much for it. If anything, Traylor might be okay with the 87 going by. It would give him a little bit of draft help for a lap or two. And once we hit about 10 laps to go, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. I was going to say for Fritz, I think if we get to 10 laps to go and he hasn't pit, he's going to be on fumes too. But here he goes. Fritz is going to make his final stop. Looks like he gets into the pits pretty well. Now, it should be interesting here to see if Matthew Fritz gets out ahead of his teammate Joey Hickox or not. But I was going to say, I mean, I think for Traylor, he has to commit. He doesn't really have a choice at this point, I don't think. I mean, if he pits, I just don't see any way that he holds on to the lead. Maybe, as you see Matthew Fritz, did he overshoot his box? No, he was able to slide in. That was a really nice job of almost parallel parking it right there for Matthew Fritz. So we'll have to see where he blends out at, as that's the only truck right now in the pits. And so if you look, I mean, just for a trailer right here, this is where he runs. Joey Hickok's into turn 3. He's catching this 54 truck. He needs to get that lap back, by the way, just in case a caution were to come out. But then once he gets that lap back, I mean, 15 to go, it doesn't really matter how slow David Trailer runs. There's still no way that Joey Hickox would be able to actually go and catch that 54. As you see right there, it looks like his teammate, the 29, Matthew Fritz, is going to beat him out. So Fritz now moves into position to get the race win if Trailer runs out of fuel. But it would still be Joey Hickox who would win the championship if that were to be the case. Joey's still pushing it for just about all he's worth right now. He knows he's got to go, and he is trying everything to just find some speed here. 32.7 that last lap, 32.6 the lap before. David Trailer still running 32s as well though here, so I wonder for Joey, did he not take tires maybe? That'd be my next question. No, he would have had to, I would think. There's no way Joey didn't take tires right here after how bad the handling was. Well, let's go back and confirm. Why not? We have the opportunity to, so let's go see here. For Joey Hickox, I think this was, as he was trying to save it, this was his pit off. Where was his pit in? So as he gets into his box, do they lift up the right side? Oh, wow. What is this here? I'll tell you what, boy, I am all twisted up on what sort of strategy these guys are playing out here. I mean, this is all sorts of confusion and chaos, but it almost seems like from that view, maybe Joey didn't take tires. Certainly wouldn't have made too much sense, I wouldn't have thought, for him to not, but watch it again here, and then we'll fast forward it just to make sure there's nothing that we somehow missed here. I mean, I guess for Joe... Ooh, locked it up there. You wonder... I don't think he gets a speeding penalty. I think if he did, it would have held him in the pits. Which, again, we don't believe that it did. So for the 3 truck right here, watch as he gets into his box here. Just going to bring it down, and was the call fuel only here. Brings it down. He's going to look for his box. Comes to a halt. And let's see. How long does he sit there? Looks like the answer is not long, and I don't see any tires. Well, that would certainly explain the lap times for Joey Hickox, why he's not gaining much, because he chose not to take tires. Was that a mistake? Did he have to come back around and take them? I mean, what happened here? I'm just shocked that the 3 truck would have still fallen a lap down. I mean, I guess there goes the 54. That could explain that part of it. So I guess that does still add up in that sense, and Joey didn't have to bring it back down, so interesting call. We'll have to see if it works out for Joey here. He's still being scored a lap down. So at this rate, this is solely coming down to he needs David Trailer to either run out of fuel on that last lap early enough to where he can make it to him, or he needs Trailer to commit to just pitting here to get fuel, which I just don't think David Trailer's going to do. I think David knows that this is the winning strategy here, and he's got so much room and time to work with here with Joey Hickox not taking tires that he can afford to coast for pretty much as much as he wants. And you can hear just how much he's got that clutch in right now, trying to stretch it as far as it will go. Remember, he came up about arguably two to 3 laps short on that last go at it. And again, there's the gap between him and Joey just for his lap back. So Joey's still got a lot of work to do. That's why he really needs his 54 to run out. And I think what surprises me a little bit here is the fact that, I mean, Joey's still running it pretty close to as hard as he can. And even with David Trailer saving as much as he is, Joey has just not been able to catch that much. Let me show you kind of how much of a difference it makes when you save tire, of course, which David Trailer has been doing. Is now Hickox gets back into the outside wall. He'll arc it back down. And so it's coming to just 8 laps to go. And man, this is going to be very, very interesting to see how this all plays out. But if you're David Trailer, you got to make him a fuel. If you're Hickox, you got to push the pace here as hard as you can and just hope that he runs out. That is the 2 strategies that are going to determine who gets the NOMA Truck Series title here tonight. Again, Stinson and Parham are out of it. They were your other 2 championship Ford drivers. David Trailer has never won a NOMA Truck Series championship. Joey Hickox trying to get another NOMA Truck Series championship. His last one was just a couple of seasons ago. We now see 7 laps to go here. It's for Joey Hickox, but if we go back up to your leader, David Trailer, boy, I wish we had some sort of hot mic right now to see how he was feeling. Don't want to bring him up, obviously. I know he is dialed in and focused right now, but he has got to be a mix of excited and nervous at the same time. If he knows he's good to go, he's probably pretty excited. But if he still doesn't necessarily think he can make it, he's got to be feeling pretty nervous. This could come down to potentially one of the weirdest and wildest finishes that I've ever seen, just again, depending on how everything pans out. But you can hear just how early he's putting the clutch in on entry to the corner and how long he rides that clutch before he ultimately puts the hammer back down. So 6 laps to go. It'll be coming to 5 next time for David Traylor. And I think right here, if you're David, you know, I don't know if a caution would be the absolute worst case scenario for him, but I think he'd rather see this thing stay green to the finish. That means that he's going to have to get to that white flag, which is still about 4 laps away as he crosses the line this time. 5 laps to go in the Manny Rays Championship here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. David Traylor versus Joey Hickox. Grandstand Racing versus Venom Racing. And a fuel strategy call versus a run as hard as you possibly can call. And right now, it seems like the fuel strategy call has got it going the best. And I'm keeping an eye on some of the other trucks to watch here. Sam Boutwell, Matthew Fritz, in the battle for second. We're going to have to see how these two sort it all out. And even for Sam Boutwell, I mean, if he somehow could find a way to catch his teammate here, but I don't think he will. I wonder what would happen then. Either way, 4 laps to go now. Just 3 away here. And for David Traylor, again, even if he can't make it at this point, even if he's going to run out of fuel before we get to that last lap, his only choice now is going to be he just has to go for it. Do whatever you can. If you start to sputter, I think you immediately just push the clutch all the way in, let it roll, and that way you've got a little bit of gas to sputter with. But, I mean, man, he just keeps packing this pace off more and more. Again, he is trying absolutely everything he can, and Joey Hickox, who's not saving any fuel, just cannot find a way to catch him right now. 3 laps to go. He has got to be getting close to fumes. Remember, in real life, these trucks and really all series, they have a switch that when they start to sputter, they can flip the switch. They get a little fuel reserve that gets them about 1 more lap's worth of fuel. They do not get that here in iRacing in any series. So once you start to sputter, that's it. You're out. And it's just about where you sputter and how much you sputter. David Traylor here, the truck's still running very, very strong now as we officially hit 2 laps to go. We're going to pull up the dashboard speed here for these last couple laps for Traylor, and we'll be keeping a close eye on him to see if those speeds all of a sudden drop off at one point and don't pick back up. Still so far so good, and again, we think realistically for Traylor here, he needs to be under power probably till about the exit of turn 2 on this next lap. I think if he can make it to that point under full power, he should be good to go to make it to the finish with the lead that he's got on Joey Hickox to be crowned a champion. May not win the race, but that's not what he cares about. Here we go. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Can David Traylor stretch the fuel mileage? Puts the clutch back in. He's going to immediately go to the high side. Looks like he's getting ready to sputter here. When he goes up top like that, that makes you think that he's getting ready to run out. Truck's still under power, though. He's good at this point. Coming through 3 and 4, David Traylor. It won't matter anymore. He can run out now because he can coast all the way to the finish. After a dominant season, look at this. Grandstand Racing is going to crown a champion. David Traylor wins the NOMA Truck Series Championship. In a fuel mileage finish, the only race of the season that he wins by other means than just pure dominance in speed. He gets the job done in a fuel mileage stretch. I don't know how he made it. And I'm curious to see if he even has enough fuel to make it back to burn it down. Truck is currently still under power at the moment. There it goes. There's the sputtering. David Traylor now sputtering, so he is officially out of fuel. Made it by just enough. He's going to try to... I don't even know if he'll be able to burn it down. He might try, but he's just not going to have enough. He might have a sputter or two here. But he is your NOMA Truck Series season champion. And what a way to do it in dramatic fashion nonetheless. Well, it seems like he's still got enough right now. Thought I heard him sputtering, but truck sounds like it's under full power at the moment. So David Traylor, boy, I can't wait to hear how much he had left in the tank when we interview him. This is going to be a fun one as David Traylor continues to celebrate, though. Let's take a look at your finishing results here on the night. Again, your race winner and season champion is David Traylor. For Grandstand Racing, Sam Boutwell finishes second, with Matthew Fritz back in third, Grant Turner fourth, Jonathan Herbert in fifth, with Joey Hickox in sixth, Justin Parr back in seventh, and Jay Stinson rounds out the field tonight. He finishes in 8th. All right, we're going to go grab your top 3 here for interviews. We'll try to also make sure that we get all of your Championship 4 drivers, including the 2 that did not finish in the top 3. Excuse me, including the 3 that did not finish in the top 3. But first, let's kick things off with your season champion, David Traylor. David, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, I got you, man.
Well, you are now officially a NOMA Truck Series champion, and man, it came down to a stretch on fuel mileage. First question is, how did you pull that off, and how much fuel did you have left there?
Ran out doing my burnouts there. After the second stage, I kind of did a little redneck math in my head and saw that it was close, and knew that I didn't have the best short run speed. So if I had to break it off into 3 short runs, I might have been in trouble. I really only had some decent long run speed here. So I kind of just started clutching from the drop. Just prayed for caution free, and basically just wore the clutch out just about as much as I did the gas that last 70 laps.
Yeah, we saw you saving for all it was worth, but I mean, overall, when you have a season as dominant as the one that you have, do you almost feel like you kind of had to get the championship? And do you feel like you've kind of checked another thing off the bucket list now that you've got a NOMA Truck Series championship along with an Asphalt Outlaws Racing championship?
Yeah, it definitely helps. Like I said, when this was kind of like a revenge season, I feel like I had the momentum going to the championship last year, but I had to miss the championship race and had Justin step in for me. So wanted to come back, wanted to kind of make it worth my while here, and had all the momentum at the end of the year, and just like I said, just found my groove, and it finally paid off.
Yes, it did. Well, I know you want to go celebrate, so before we let you head out here, is there anyone you want to go thank and shout out for the final time this season?
Yeah, first off, huge thank you to new sponsor on board, QH Design, Colton and the guys over there. Huge supporters of mine, great sponsor. If you need any marketing material, t-shirts, hats, signs, vinyls, anywhere, they ship nationwide. So if you have a business, that's a great tool for you. Massive thank you to you over at PGR. I love going back and watching the broadcast. It's super awesome, super high quality, and it always makes it interesting. And then thanks to my fiance for letting me do this, Dan, Amber, Tommy for the support, and my dad watching at home.
David, thank you for talking to us. Congrats on the win. Congrats on being crowned a champion, and hopefully we'll see you again next season in a different car.
Thank you, Austin.
All right, and now that'll bring us up to your second place finisher here tonight. Another one of the Grandstand Racing teammates. It's Sam Boutwell. Sam, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Gotcha, Austin.
Well, you bring home a second place finish here tonight. Obviously going for the win there, and if your teammate would have ran out, I think you may have had it. But overall, a good second place finish to end the season. How'd you feel about it?
It was definitely a fun race. I love old Atlanta. It fits my wheelhouse. Had a bunch of fun though. It was definitely a grandstand show. Hate that Justin wrecked there in the middle of the third stage and had to get out because of it. That's definitely what put me behind the 8 ball with my teammate Trailer, because I checked up a ton of time just to let Justin gather it up, hoping maybe we might get a caution out of it, but we didn't, which is fine and dandy. It just messed up a lot of track time, and I was just glad I was able to save enough fuel to bring her home second and watch Trailer pick up a championship tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And overall, it was a really good season for Grandstand Racing as a team. For yourself, consistency was there. And how important is it to kind of end the season on a good note like this with a good finish, knowing that we're changing cars next season?
It's definitely fun. It gives you a little bit of a good taste in your mouth to head off into the off season to rest up, which thankfully we got a little bit of a lengthy off season to practice up on the next gen to get ready for it. Hopefully Grandstand comes back just as strong next year as we have been this year.
Absolutely. And Sam, before we let you head out here tonight for the final time this season, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Actually, I just want to let Keith Prince know that him and his family and his son's in our prayers. He gave us a message just before race time that He had having to get him to the ER, so sad he couldn't make it. Hope his son, his 5-year-old, makes it all right, and that's the important thing for us.
Absolutely. And Sam, thank you for talking to us again. Congrats on that second place finish, and hopefully we'll see you again next season.
Thank you.
All right, now that'll bring us up to your final podium finisher here of the night. And for Venom Racing, it's Matthew Fritz. Matthew, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, you bring home a good third place finish here tonight. And man, it looked like there are a couple different times you may have had race winning speed, but there in the third stage, do you think that if they ran out of fuel, you had it? What else do you think you might have needed there? Do you wish you would have tried anything different with strategy?
Nah, me and Joey were just trying to gamble. Made a terrible mistake, ran out of gas on won the stage and ran out of gas, That was not fun, and Jay pushed me. Thank you, Jay. But yeah, we were just trying a different strategy. We knew a trailer was fast, and yeah, we're just trying something different.
Trying something different. Doesn't quite work out. Obviously, trailer able to just stretch it. But, I mean, overall, as a season, you make it as far as you do in the playoffs. You have two teammates that make the championship 4. What was it about the team dynamic that was working so well for you guys? And how do you feel like you kind of ended the season out with it?
Well, I ended the season pretty well. Homestead was a good race for me, and tonight was just had a bad the first race. I can't remember what track it was, but it was terrible, so I didn't make the playoffs. Yeah, the team was strong. Jay, Joey, really good. Chase not here tonight. Zach, we have a great team, and I hope we can build on with the next gen.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Matt, before we let you head out for the final time this season, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
I got to thank my mom, my grandmother, my dad, grandfather, my mom's business on the card. Got to thank Jay for painting it. He did a great job. All the sponsors that put this league on. And I got to thank you, Austin. You do a fantastic job. It's always incredible to go watch them back.
Thank you, Matthew, for talking to us again. Congrats on the third place finish, and hopefully we'll see you next season.
Yeah, thank you, Austin.
All right, and as we expected, we're going to try to also still talk to the remaining championship drivers that did not finish on the podium. If we can find them all, looks like some of them have decided to bail here for the night. So we'll still see if we can get a word here with the two that remain. Hey, Joey, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, buddy.
Well, hey, man, listen, I won't hold you for too long, but we got a couple questions. I mean, overall, as a season, you make it to the championship 4, you go for the strategy call, doesn't quite work out. But, I mean, overall, how'd you feel about the season, kind of looking back at it?
Not up and down season. But, looking forward to next year, getting a new car in here and redoing some things, maybe going with a different format. So, just ready for a break, to be honest with you. Got Christmas coming, all this other stuff. So, just looking for a break and come back next year and go at it and try to get another one.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, you've won the NOMA Truck Series Championship before. You know, you've had that experience. And, I mean, overall, from all the times that we've seen the trucks, looking back, do you have something in mind that you look that maybe you can carry and kind of utilize in the next gen, something that maybe you can take away from the way these trucks drove?
I don't know. I'm not really, I haven't really drove the next gen car too much, but it just seems like that's what people want to drive. So you definitely want to do whatever the league wants to do to have filler or more fulfilled. So it's going to be a unique experience. It's going to be a big learning gap. So, kind of looking forward to it and kind of dreading it in some ways.
Indeed. Well, hey, we said we wouldn't hold you here for too long. So before we let you head out for the final time this season, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, man, I got to thank you for broadcasting. I'm still going to go back and watch it, even though the strategy didn't work out, but still going to go back and watch it. It's probably a fun little broadcast you had there. I thank all of our sponsors, Manny Rays, been with us since the start of this thing and really poured a lot into it, helped us get where we were. So we really appreciate Raymond over there. Got to thank H&H Tractor Works. They've been with us pretty much from the start too. Flatwoods Hunting Club, Abingdon Collision Repairs, Rhino Lining. Who else we got here? We got I don't know, I'm missing something. Oh, Blue Ridge Auto. So thank those guys a lot for everything they do for us in the league, and looking forward to next year and try to be the first one to win this thing twice. And I've been to every championship 4 race, and that would be a nice little streak to keep going. So at least I'm pretty proud of that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And Joey, thank you for talking to us. Again, congrats on overall a great season. I know you come up a little bit short here tonight, but it was, again, a great season overall, and we hope to see you again next season.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, and then that'll bring us up to your final, the championship drivers that we still have hanging around. That is Jay Stinson. Jay, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, what's going on, Austin? How you doing, buddy?
Good. Well, we kind of same thing that we just said to Joey. We won't hold you for too long here, but a couple questions that we wanted to get answered kind of as the race happened is what happened to you there that made you have to retire from the race?
Just being honest with you, I made a mistake. At some point in time, I went into pit. I had a fast repair I needed to take, and unfortunately, when I went into pit, it unchecked it. So then I had to come back around and get in the pit, and when I got in the pit, it unchecked my tires. And so it was just over. Like, I was a little bit fed up, a little bit aggravated about the way that it went, nothing I could do to control it. So instead of continuing and taking that frustration out during the race on somebody or anybody, I just decided, hey, let's let those guys do their thing and end it the right way. And gave Joey and Justin and Trailer opportunity there just to race for it, because I felt like it just wasn't my night. Made too many mistakes and just some weird stuff happened there. I double check everything, so I looked at my fast repair was set, but when I got in the pit and I got into the stall, it had unchecked itself. So it was one to go and me a lap down and it unchecked my tire. It was weird stuff, but yeah, I'll own it. Made a mistake and decided not to take it out on anybody.
Certainly an unfortunate break overall, though. You got to feel pretty good about this season. And I mean, obviously getting not just yourself, but another Venom Racing driver into the championship. You guys had a great season as a team. So how do you take this and build on it as we move into next season in a new car?
Yeah, well, I always love running with the guys. So I stayed in the Discord trying to talk to Joey and all them while they're running. And unfortunate for what happened to him and, stuff like that happens. Trailer obviously had a great season, so he was kind of the guy to beat, and everybody else was just chasing that whatever's going on. And so, we did what we could, and we had a good time. Building for next year, looking forward to the new car. I'll be working on getting the fields back up and some new ideas, and hopefully some new faces and that type of stuff. Keep our sponsors happy, and see if we can get rolling next year.
Sounds like a plan. Well, hey, Jay, before we let you head out for the final time this season, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Buddy, so, at the end of this year, it's going to be our sponsors, you for broadcasting as always. Not the fields we wanted there at the end. You always make those races important and fun and keep people interested. Johnny Eckert for doing our race control. Couldn't do it without him. He handles a lot of stuff behind the scenes that helps it make it easier for me and Joey. And then again, all of our sponsors and all of our fans and, Miss Hickox, we appreciate her all the time. Manny Rays, Rhino Lines of Bristol, Flatwoods, H&H, M&M, Pet Sittings, Blue Ridge, just all the guys that allow us to do this and not pull everything out of our pockets. And then all the guys that stayed in and raced with us here at the end of the season. And congratulations to our champ Trailer. Great season. I mean, nobody could beat him. Looked like he won about every race, it seemed like. So it was just fitting he ended up winning the last one as well. So just like to thank all those for showing up, and we'll get it running and prepared for next season.
Absolutely. And Jay, again, thank you for talking to us. I know it didn't work out the best way here tonight, but a good season to reflect on, and we will see you again next season.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, Austin.
All right, there you go. Well, with that is going to wrap up our coverage here tonight from the championship race at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Your race winner and season champion, David Trailer, gets the job done after a dominant season. What a way to go out for himself and Grandstand Racing. Again, the NOMA boys are not done. They will be back in a couple of months with a new season and a new car. Broadcasting plans and everything are all still getting worked out. But looking for more information on it, again, you can check out the Discord in the description to this video. So for the final time this season, as always, thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed. That's it for me, Austin Green, here on PGR eSports. And until next time, have a good night.